Andrew, what are you doing?
Are we doing a show about bubbles?
That's right. It's a travel bubble to the islands of Palau. We'll be talking about that in today's show.
That's right. Finally, a year after they halted international travel, we can finally go overseas hassle-free.
That's right.
I'm Andrew Ryan.
I'm Natalie Tso. First, let's take a look at the stories on our radar.
One pilot is dead and another missing after their F-5 fighter jets collided in midair during a training exercise off the coast of eastern Taiwan. This is the 9th accident involving this model of aircraft in Taiwan since 2001. The Air Force has temporarily grounded its fleet of F-5s pending an investigation. Taiwan is building indigenous fighters to replace the aging planes, but they're not likely to be ready until 2026. Oops! A ship operated by a Taiwanese company has gotten wedged diagonally across the Suez Canal, blocking a critical artery for global trade. The ship's operator, Evergreen Marine, says that strong winds are the likely cause. Already, there's a marine traffic jam, and it could take days to get the canal unblocked. To paraphrase one online comment, no matter how badly you've messed up at your job this week, your mistake probably isn't visible from space. Taiwan began COVID vaccinations on Monday. Over 4,000 people have received the AstraZeneca vaccine. The premier, health minister, medical personnel, and Olympic athletes have already gotten shots. So far, no one has reported serious side effects. The Tomb Sweeping Festival is just around the corner. People will be visiting and cleaning the graves of ancestors. That's all good and well, but they may also burn paper offerings, and the flames often get out of control. In Taichung alone, firefighters have had to respond to over 200 graveyard fires over the past few weeks, accidentally set by people doing their tomb sweeping early.
So what do you know about Palau, Andrew?
Well, I did look at it on the internet because I was afraid I didn't know anything. I mean, it's a tiny island nation, only about 20,000 people.
That's small.
But 500 islands.
Wow, a lot of places to see, right?
Absolutely.
And I hear they're beautiful, beautiful beaches.
And soon we're going to learn a lot more about Palau. Starting on April 1st, a new travel bubble is going to be making travel between the two countries a whole lot easier.
White sands, blue skies, clear water. It's not hard to see why people are excited for Taiwan's new travel bubble with Palau. Travel operator Wu Tuanfeng has the details. She says prospective travellers are between the ages of 25 and 45, with a fairly even split in gender. The first group will set out on April 1st, ending more than a year of restricted international travel. There are two packages available, one for around $2,000, not including COVID testing or insurance, and another for around $7,000. The cheaper package will take a tour group of 30 people for a 3-night stay, with food and accommodation provided. The premium package, meanwhile, is more intimate, with 10 or fewer people travelling for 4 nights. There's a difference in food and accommodation too. The premium group will stay in 5-star presidential suites and enjoy a seafood feast. But broadly speaking, they'll both visit the same places. Wu says that if there's a change in the pandemic situation, operators will respond accordingly. That could include urgently flying travellers back to Taiwan. Meanwhile, the Insurance Bureau says it will have a travel bubble package ready by March the 25th. That will cover travel risks, injury, sudden illness, and emergency rescue in case of infection with COVID-19. 4 nights cover should cost around $90 to $100. It's a considerable cost, but after a year in Taiwan, travelers here are itching to get away.
Doesn't that look amazing?
Yes, and I hear those jellyfish don't sting.
Isn't
that amazing?
Can you imagine swimming with the jellyfish and not worrying about that? So beautiful. Well, having a travel bubble does mean that there won't be any quarantine required. However, there are some other things that you'll need to keep in mind. You cannot have any overseas travel experience in the 6 months prior to your trip to Palau.
You'll need a negative COVID test at the airport before your departure.
You must travel with the tour group and wear a mask.
And when you return to Taiwan, you'll have to undergo enhanced health management for 5 days, get another negative COVID test, and then do regular health management for 9 days.
So would you want to go to Palau under this scheme? Well, we asked some people what they thought. Here are their answers.
Yes, I would go to Palau now. I would consider it because I know that most of the people there have been vaccinated, and I know it's safe right now.
Yeah, why not? I think it sounds like some amazing fish to see out there. Yeah, definitely. If it's affordable, I'll go.
I really love Palau. I've been there. It's been a while since I've been there. If my husband would be okay with it, and I would actually still want to look into how things have gone for them with COVID, but I imagine it has actually been good.
I would be interested. I would, however, need to understand the costs involved. I've heard they're extortionate.
Yeah, for me, I would like to travel to Palau because for my work, I've ever received a counselor from Palau. He's really a nice person, and he say everyone in Palau knows Taiwan, so I'm curious about how is Palau.
Yes, I absolutely would. Palau sounds like a fun, exotic, and tropical country, and it does not seem like too crazy or popular a travel destination. So yeah, I think it's worth checking out.
Looks like everyone wants to go, but I don't think they know how expensive it is.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Once you know how expensive it is and some of the other things to keep in mind, you might think twice. What about you, Natalie?
If it were free, I would go.
If you're... I mean, of course, I would go too. Well, we are going to have some more information for you in the links below with all the details you need to know before you go.
Something fishy happened in Taiwan recently, and it's possible you've heard of it, because this story was picked up by international outlets like BBC, CNN, and The Guardian. It's a story the media is dubbing Salmon Chaos. Don't worry, it's not what it sounds like. Hordes of salmon are not falling from the sky and hurting people by way of blunt force trauma. In Chinese, salmon is gui yu. Remember that because you're going to need it for later. On March 15th, a Japanese sushi restaurant chain announced a special promotion on Facebook. They said that anyone who had Chinese characters that sounded like gui yu in their name could get up to 50% off on a meal at the restaurant between March 17th and 18th. Your name didn't explicitly have to be salmon. As long as it sounded like it, then you'd get a discount. But the restaurant went a step further and said that if you had salmon or gui yu in your name, then you could eat at the restaurant for free. Now, the marketing team must have been having fun, right? After all, no one is really named Salmon. I mean, even if there are, it's probably just one or two eccentric individuals. I mean, surely nobody would legally change their name to Salmon in order to score free food, right? I think you know where this story is going. According to Apple Daily, over the course of 4 days, 331 people legally changed their name to something salmon-related just to cash in on the free meal. Oh, and remember 2 hashtags ago when I talked about the man with the longest name in Taiwan with a 25-character name? Well, you can forget about that because someone gave themselves a 36-character name calling themselves Chen loves Taiwan abalone, tuna, salmon, snow crab, sea urchin, scallop, lobster, and beef. Mayful, Palais des Chines, Regent, Hilton, Caesar Park, Hotel Royale in hopes of getting more free stuff. I mean, that's pretty forward thinking. But that record was short-lived because a few days later, someone gave themselves a 50-character name. Originally, they wanted 66 characters, but I'm just assuming government officials went, we really need to draw a line somewhere. I'm not going to tell you what that name is or what it means because we just don't have that kind of time. This trend got so out of hand that the government had to get involved. The Interior Ministry made a Facebook post which said, don't go somewhere you can't salmon from. And that makes sense when you realize the word for salmon, gui, sounds like the word for return. The Interior Ministry reminded people that under Taiwanese law, you can only change your name 3 times. So if people aren't careful, they could potentially be stuck with the word salmon in their name. It actually happened to a couple of people. But luckily for them, the internet has found loopholes in the law that allows people who have maxed out on normal name changes to change their name again. I mean, it was bound to happen. I bet you there's someone out there who got the dates of the promotion wrong and ended up changing their name to Salmon for no good reason. But that wouldn't be so bad considering other sushi establishments are beginning to offer discounts on sushi for people named Salmon. In fact, businesses are offering lobsters, abalone, pudding, and even cremation urns for people with certain names. Cremation urns. Don't ask me why, don't ask me how. I don't want to know. This might seem like all fun and games, but Salmon Chaos has had tangible consequences. For one, the original restaurant said that its kitchen waste increased 6-fold over the course of the promotion. It's almost like people are okay wasting food as long as they're not paying for it. However, the more pressing issue to me concerns Taiwan's indigenous rights. Taiwan's indigenous communities have long advocated for the use of their traditional names, but they've always run into trouble with government restriction. So a lot of advocates have pointed out how contradictory it is that others can change their name on a whim for free sushi, while indigenous people have to fight to preserve their culture. Now, if any lesson comes out of all of this chaos, let it be this one. Don't change your name to get free stuff.
Today's brain game is called Name That Island. And, most people probably won't be going to Palau. Some people will, but not everybody, right? But we have plenty of offshore islands in Taiwan to travel to. I'm going to introduce some of them today. And you guys are going to look at a picture of each island. You get one guess per picture. That's because it's kind of easy today. And I'm going to give you 3 hints, which are 3 things you can enjoy on that island.
Oh. Taiwan. Did I get it?
No.
That's all the islands.
Are you guys ready?
I think so.
Okay.
Let's go.
Let's go for the first picture. Sea turtles make nests on this island. The second hint, it has a flying fish festival with activities that last 8 to 9 months.
Wow, that's a long festival.
And Andrew, want to guess?
Do you want to give the third clue?
It is.
I think it's Orchid Island.
You're right. It is home to the Tao people. You would have got it by that, right?
Yeah, Tao yeah.
So it's beautiful, isn't it?
It is gorgeous.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
Sea turtle nests?
Yeah.
I feel like I see sea turtles all around Taiwan, though.
Yeah,
There are a
Liao
lot
has
of
them as well.
islands
Yeah, I was going to
have
guess
them.
Liao, but I
Yes.
didn't think they have flying fish out there.
No.
That threw me off.
That's the one that gave it away because that's a really big festival for the
It
Tao
is, and it
people.
lasts
Yeah.
almost all year long.
Yeah.
So pretty exciting. All right, let's take a look at another beautiful island. Okay.
Oh, I know this one.
This island is a
fair.
habitat for Formosan sika deer. You want to hear more hints? It has Taiwan's only saltwater spring, and it has a human rights culture park. Andrew, he is a travel show host, so I
is
knew you
not
would get
fair.
this. Yeah,
This green island.
that's right.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful island to travel to.
Although it's funny, when you said sika deer, I was like, oh, maybe I don't know this.
You didn't know that
I
they
didn't know
live
that.
there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know there's the human
They have a park, too.
rights park over there.
Yeah,
Right.
I definitely knew that.
Right.
That was a giveaway, but then again, like the minute you said like, oh, I know what this is, I'm like, oh, I'll tap out.
Well, I actually recognize the picture. The
Have you
picture
been
looks
there?
familiar. Yes, recently
okay.
actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? How
I
was it?
was there maybe at the end of 2020.
And what did you do?
I went
wanna go there.
swimming. I was there for a music festival. It was a stargazing music festival. So we lied down on the grass. All the lights were
I want
off.
to go to Green Island.
Yeah,
Where do
we
you
listened to music.
hear
Wonderful.
about these amazing events? I didn't know about
Well,
that. I would have been in
A very
on board.
a good friend of mine was actually singing. He was singing at the concert, so
Okay.
I went with the band.
That's why.
Sounds
There
like
it is.
fun.
Had an in.
Okay, one more picture.
Okay,
Let's do it.
Let's take a
come on,
look at this
Leslie.
one. Is it pretty obvious?
I actually don't know this one.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. So it is one of Taiwan's largest coral islands. The sea temperature is 25 degrees Celsius or 77 degrees Fahrenheit
really hot.
all year long.
Whoa.
So it's a very popular place to swim in the wintertime.
Huh.
And it's a great place to swim with sea turtles.
I'm just going to go with Liao.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. So isn't it beautiful?
It is beautiful there. I actually went swimming with the turtles.
I did
once.
too.
Over
My whole
at
family
Xiaoliuqiu.
did. We
Yeah.
had so much fun.
The only thing stopping me is I've been to Liao before. We actually circumnavigated the island. I didn't realize it was that big. It looked bigger than it felt like.
Yeah, you definitely want some sort of like scooter,
You need a
electric
scooter or electric bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so much fun over there.
And one tip when you're with swimming with the turtles, don't touch them. You're not allowed
You're not
to
allowed
touch
to.
them.
You can't
Yeah.
even wear sunscreen. So
Yeah.
they are very protective of them, but they're very nice. I mean, they swim really close to you, and it's
Did they swim
beautiful.
at you knowing that they'll get fined?
I did. I actually was. I was filming one with a little GoPro, and it like came straight at me, and I was like, "Whoa!" Traffic accident.
Wow.
In the water.
Fun.
It's cool.
So we do have some more travel tips about traveling around Taiwan from Joshua Samuel Brown. He is the Lonely Planet travel writer for Taiwan, and he has some thoughts for us.
Wrote an article for Topics magazine last year, and the article was about how Taiwan's tourism industry had been by and large saved by Taiwanese people and also members of Taiwan's expat community saying, you know what, I can't go to Thailand, can't go to Japan, can't go back to America, can't go back wherever. I'm going to explore Taiwan as much as I can. And so far, nobody that I know has said, oh, now I'm bored. You know, I'm bored exploring Taiwan. And it's been a year. You know what, you've already seen, you've been all around the mountains, then go to Penghu. You've been around Penghu, go to Jinmen, go to Mazu. If you can ride a bicycle around Taiwan, ride a bicycle around Taiwan. The best month to do that is honestly April, early May, March, or October, November, if you can schedule that. Ride around the island and don't shirk the West Coast. People are like, oh, the West Coast, that's where there's more pollution. The East Coast is more beautiful. The West Coast has a lot of really, really cool stuff. Go to small towns, talk to people, meet people. Of course, Tainan, I could spend months just walking around Tainan, just walking along those alleyways that, were there when, Koxinga came to Taiwan. They're that old. They're from the Ming Dynasty. Definitely Tainan is one of my favorite cities. If somebody asked me, what's the one thing that you would want to do if you're like, and I have this is my plan, we're going to buy a house, but when I'm an old man, I will come back to Taiwan. I'll have either be bald or have long hair, and I'll have a stick because old men have sticks. That's my plan. And I like walking around in Taipei in just the alleyways, just the neighborhoods.
So we've been talking today about the travel bubble between Taiwan and Palau. Here's a look at some of the other countries that have expressed interest in a travel bubble with Taiwan.
There's Singapore, South Korea, Japan, and Vietnam.
Cool.
Not bad, huh?
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
So, final question of the day. Where would you guys like to travel as part of a travel bubble? Let's start with Natalie.
Okay, I'm missing California,
Oh.
so I would love to go there. Hopefully they'll get well soon.
Oh.
Yes, absolutely. So for me, I would say New
Oh,
Zealand.
yes, beautiful over there.
A little Lord of the Rings action, perhaps. And of course, they've done very well with COVID, so I'd feel pretty safe going there.
Not bad, yeah, good choice.
Leslie?
I myself am feeling rather sentimental, so I also chose the United States of America. I haven't been back there in 3 years, and all my friends are there, and I had a brother who just went back there.
Yeah.
And I'm missing a lot of the American things you can't get in Taiwan.
Yeah. So, well, if any of those things happen, we will let you know about it in a future episode of Taiwan Insider. So thanks so much for tuning in, and be sure to connect with us on social media.
Yes, subscribe and like us and leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you. For Taiwan Insider, I'm Natalie Tso.
I'm Leslie Liao.
And I'm Andrew Ryan. See you next week.